Hello and welcome to Friday's Masterclass edition of Cracking the Cryptic. This is the episode each week where we do what we were originally designed to do. That's what the channel is named for, Cracking the Cryptic crossword. So I'm going to try and do just that. I'm going to have a look at today's Times crossword and talk you through it insofar as I'm able to. It's by a friend of mine today, John Guiver, who is one of the most brilliant setters of cryptic crosswords on planet Earth. And so sorry, I've still got my cough. So I suspect we're in for a treat. Let's have a quick look at the stats. I had a look first thing this morning, and the snitch was high, but not so monstrous. So, Moan, John McCabe, is the first real time there, 6 minutes 50, which is a long time for John, believe it or not. I know it's so ludicrous, isn't it? Especially if you're new to cryptic crosswords, you must think, how can anybody solve one of these? Especially a relatively difficult one in 6 minutes 50, but actually that will be relatively slow for John. Lily is Liam Hughes, finalist in the Times Crossword Championship a couple of years ago, 7 minutes 90. And then Mark there, in with 7:44. So it's clearly not easy if Mark's taking nearly 8 minutes to solve it. And even Matthew Marcus there, 10:43. That is a former winner of the Times Crossword Championship, so it's definitely hard. Let's see if there are errors. Yeah, you can still get on the leaderboard with one error. So yeah, this is definitely not. I think this is not as easy as the snitch suggests. Anyway, we'll have a look at it together in a moment or two's time. Let me just check the recording seems to be working. My computer crashed this morning, which is, I mean, if you can believe it, if you're trying to be a YouTuber, computers crashing is terrifying, but it does seem to be behaving itself just at the minute. Now, do I have any news for you before we kick off today? I've got a birthday for Alan. Alan, your girlfriend Amy wrote to me and told me that I think the two of you have both been watching the channel for years, so thank you for doing that. But the two of you really enjoy the masterclasses, so I thought I'd do the shout out in this video rather than in the Sudoku video later on. So Alan, I hope you have a great birthday today, and I hope the chocolate cake is splendid, of course. And the other thing, I'm just going to make a quick appeal. If you watch these videos and you don't subscribe to the channel, but you do enjoy the videos, please do subscribe. We are trying to make sure that our subscriber numbers creep towards 700,000. We're on about 690,000 at the moment. And the statistics suggest that lots of people watch this video in particular but don't subscribe. It's totally free to subscribe to a YouTube channel. It just tries to teach YouTube what people like to watch. And I think it would be great, wouldn't it, if cryptic crosswords could become more popular. The Minute Cryptic videos, by the way, which we're doing daily, they're very popular. So I definitely think that there is a global market for these puzzles, and the internet is the way that we'll be able to spread the word. So anything you can do to help us would be really appreciated. But with that said and done, why don't we have a look at the puzzle? It's this one, isn't it? It's not the quick cryptic yet. And we have got 1 across, 4-8. Emergency road layer. Ought to put in more granite. John's surfaces are something else, aren't they? So remember, if you've never done a cryptic crossword clue before, every single one of these clues contains within it a straight definition of the answer to be entered. Now that straight definition is almost always at the start or the end of the clue. Very occasionally it might be the whole clue, but we'll come on to examples of that, I've no doubt. So as we look at this clue, we're looking for a phrase, 4-8, that might be emergency, high priority or something like that, or an emergency road. Don't think I know any words for emergency roads. Or the other side of the clue, probably granite rather than put in more. I don't know any words for putting in more granite. But granite, hard. If granite is descriptive of something very firm, isn't it? So, and what's road layer? A road layer that could be somebody who lays the road, so a person who lays the road, or it could be a layer of the road itself, like tarmac or asphalt or something. Granite. Emergency. I don't think it is high priority, is it? I don't understand why it would be that. No, I think we might have to move swiftly on. Oh, by the way, I explained that every clue contained within it a definition of the answer to be entered. You may be thinking, well, what's the rest of the clue yet? The rest of the clue is a recipe that tells you how to find that answer, or how to construct it. So it might say, put a word inside another word, or it might say, anagram these letters. And our job is to read the recipe properly. Let's try one down. 7 letters. The short brush enters up most piping. So the surface here is trying to make us imagine a brush entering a pipe, but I'm thinking most piping. If you were to describe a dessert as most piping, it would be hottest, wouldn't it? So why is this? Is it hottest? I really want it to be hottest, but I can't see why. So I'm just going to write it in and then we can think about it. The short. Wow, that's brilliant. That is a brilliant clue. My gosh, it is hottest. Now, if you can't see why it's hottest, pause the video and spend a couple of minutes, I'm going to say, a couple of minutes thinking about how we could read the short brush enters up as a recipe that gives this string of letters. It's not easy, but one of the things about the recipe is the recipe has to be grammatically perfect. So it has to tell you exactly what you have to do. And let me explain how this one works, and it's complicated. So the short is saying, look at the word the and shorten it. And whenever anything is cut short in a cryptic crossword clue, and it's part of the recipe, you always remove the last letter. You don't have to remove the last 2 letters or the last 3 letters. It's always going to be referring to removing just the last letter. So the short is saying cut the E off the word the. That gives us T and H. Brush. Now, if you have a brush with something, you have a sort of altercation with it. And an altercation, a word for an altercation would be a set to. If you have a set to with someone, you have an argument with them. So set to is going to enter TH, and then that whole string is going to be sent upwards. Now, this is a down clue. So if you send letters upwards, it reverses them. So you can see here we've got T, which is the T from there, H, which is the H from there, all around set to, and the whole thing is upside down, and that gives us hottest, which is, I mean, it's a brilliant clue. It's a brilliant clue, but it's very hard. Now, hang on, could this be, I'm just going to, hang on, let's just put in high priority. I didn't understand at all how it could be that. But the H at the start makes me wonder whether it is. Emergency, high priority. Road layer. Ought to put in more granite. I mean, that's just nonsense, isn't it? No, I don't think it is high priority. Emergency. Okay, so if it's not high priority, more granite. Hard. Okay, no, just granite. So if you're granite, you're sort of rock hard, aren't you? You're like Roy Keane, or more like Steven Gerrard. So you're hard. Road layer. What's going on? I don't know. I can't do that. Let's have a look at 7 down. 4-8 again. Bucks and more in company releases. Right. Well, I know what I want this to be. Shall I say what I want it to be, and then we can laugh at me and decide why it's not that. I want it to be home counties, because Bucks is sort of short for Buckinghamshire, isn't it? And that's part of the home. So Bucks and more, could that be describing the home counties? In, okay. If you're, that's brilliant. It is home counties. It is home counties. Again, before I explain why, pause. Force yourself to understand, or to try to understand, why the answer might be home counties. So the recipe here is in company releases. And if you're in, you're home, aren't you? So home is in. Company, won't surprise you, can be abbreviated to CO. Now remember, with abbreviations, you can't just abbreviate any word in these clues to its initial or its first two letters. It must be supported by the dictionary. And if we go to the dictionary and type CO, as well as all these things, we will find there company, I should say, rather than I've got counties on my brain, but company. So home, co, and then releases. If you release something, you unties there. Isn't that beautiful? So home counties is the answer. Now the great thing about this is that look how many starting letters we get. So hopefully this will help us. So 7 letters on 8 across. Couple bunging old vase, no longer of use. So again, it sort of conjures up an image of some pensioners throwing out their old vase. Oh, what's that phrase? That's making me think of Undermilt Wood. The yellowing dicky bird. Dicky bird watching pictures of the dead. Something like that. Yellowing dicky bird watching pictures of the dead. Right. Anyway, I digress. Do not digress, Simon. Couple. So, right. What's going on? Couple bunging old. Vase no longer of use. I'm not sure. I think, if I was guessing, I would think this is a 7-letter word for no longer of use. And I like the one thought I've had here is, I have actually got this now. This word bunging. Now, if you bung something, you might throw it. That's how I would have thought of bung us a fruit pastel. Somebody would luzz a fruit pastel at you. But no, if you bung something up, you sort of put a cork in it, don't you? Stop it flowing. So, couple, can we think of any short synonyms for the word couple? Well, the most obvious would be TWO. So that suggests we might be the couple, two, bunging, so inside, stopping. Old, can old be abbreviated to anything? Yes, it can be abbreviated to O. Let's see. Old. Can we think of a 3-letter vase? There's only one I can really think of, and that's an urn. So we have 2, bunging, stopping, O, urn. And that does create a word, outworn. No longer of use. Well, if something's outworn its welcome, it's no longer of use, is it? So I think that's correct. Let's keep going with these starting letters. So 11 across, which is 7 letters beginning with E. 2 types of wood on European bunk. Yeah. Okay, so this is so much easier because we've got the starting letters. Make a decision. Read the clue and decide for yourself which side of the clue do you think the definition is here. Now, if you think it's the word to, it's not. It's the word bunk. Now, bunk is a bit tricky because bunk could be a bunk bed, couldn't it? But bunk, I think, is short for bunkum, which is nonsense. It's rubbish. Now, this word here I'm about to put in, you might not know as meaning rubbish, but it's one of these words that comes up in cryptic crosswords occasionally. And don't forget, even if you don't know the word or you don't know this meaning of the word, you have two chances, don't you, in cryptic crosswords to get the correct answer. You can either get it from the definition or you can get it from the recipe. Now, what does the recipe say here? 2 types of wood. So what we're looking for is the names, literally the names of 2 types of wood. And they've got to go into a relatively short space. So they're probably both 3 or at most 4 letters long. And they go on or next to European. Well, European, it might not surprise you to know, can be abbreviated to E. E has lots of abbreviations like that, European. So actually, that's probably this E. It could be an E at the end, but we're now looking for 2 3-letter types of wood. So you might be thinking oak, but hopefully, if you think about it for long enough, you'll think of a yew tree, and you might think of an ash tree. And that allows us to create eyewash. Now, eyewash, I think, is bunk or nonsense, as well as obviously something you wash your eyes in. There we go, nonsense. Actually, it's deception as well. I didn't know that. Let me just check you can see that on the screen. Yes, that's actually in the correct place. Absolutely right, isn't it? So that's good. Right, let's try 13 across. I'm immediately thinking of octet here, music group, 5 letters. Music group centred to concoct etudes. So you can see, I sort of ruin the clues somehow because I read them in a way that helps me to pass them. I mean, the way this is meant to read is music group centre to concoct etudes. That's how it would read as a sentence. So it would be a sort of I don't know, the building which the music group uses to construct or to compose their studies. But I read it in a way which is totally different to that, to try and sort of uncover which bit of the clue is the definition and which bit of the clue is the recipe. Music group, octet. Centre to concoct etudes. Now, concoct etudes actually does have a centre, doesn't it? Because i.e. the whole phrase concoct etudes. I think I'm right in saying that that's 13 letters. So if we take the central 5 letters, you can see spelt out in concoct etudes, OCTET, octet. So it's literally the centre. It's a hidden, but it's a very specific one. Should we look at this? This looks like riot act to me. Oh, that would suggest this was hard. So there's 2 down. Well, order to dispel mob. Well, that's going to be the riot act. You read the riot act to dispel the mob. That is where it historically came from. So former capital, a former capital is Rio de Janeiro, which used to be the capital of Brazil. I think Brasilia is now the capital. And then judgment, if you show judgment, you show tact, don't you? So Rio tact gets put together to create riot act. Now, we're still going to ignore that though. We're going back to 16 and making use of our starting letters. It's something I'm very poor at, actually. When I speed solve, I will quite often discover, much to my horror, that I've not used starting letters. You know, I'll be waylaid and I'll go off up here, and then I'll think, oh, if I could get that one, that would be useful. Whereas what I should be doing is doing this. So 16 across, which is 9 letters beginning with N. Mr. Joseph's eldest brother. Holding most of deposit back. Mr. I mean, this is going to be the name of somebody who's called Mr. Joseph. I keep thinking of Nathaniel. Is Joseph Nathaniel Joseph? Why is that in my head? Or maybe Mr. Joseph's eldest brother. You see, this is where my literary ignorance is going to be displayed. Eldest brother. Or maybe Joseph's eldest brother. Oh dear, did Joseph in the Bible have an eldest brother? I don't know that. So maybe the clue is Mr., which could in Cryptic Crossword land just be asking you to enter a male name. I'm going to put Nathaniel in. Why is it Nathaniel if it is Nathaniel? So Joseph's eldest brother. Who could that be? Don't know. Holding most of deposit back. No. Okay, this is not right, is it? I don't know. What can we think of? What could deposit be? There is a funny word for a deposit. It's something like LOS. It's like LOESS or something. I think that's described as some sort of geographic deposit or an alluvial deposit or something. In fact, now I've said that, I should look it up, shouldn't I? I doubt it's relevant, and it probably is only relevant for the listener. Yeah, you see, that's where it's not an alluvial deposit, it's a loamy deposit. A wind-blown loamy deposit found in river valleys. So, Mr. Now, I think I'm going to need some checking letters to help me with that one. Let's try 21. Batting failure masking century, England's opener got. Again, it's so crisp. It's the wording of the clue. I would love it if the answer to this had nothing to do with the cricket. Batting failure, what's that, a duck? Batting failure masking century. England's opener got. I thought that could be invoice for a moment. Let me explain where I got invoice from. If you're batting in cricket, you're in. That's how you describe it. He's in. He's at the crease. And then I thought failure. What was the word for failure? Vice is a word for a failure. And then, but that it doesn't quite work, does it? A failure masking century. I would just almost describe removing the C, which is a valid abbreviation for century, from vice. England's opener, that must be E. Got. In. Oh, I don't know. Got. I mean, I think, okay, I don't know what this is. I think it's likely to begin with E, in, and I think it's likely to end in E, and I think it's likely to mean got. And this 4-letter thing in the middle is going to be a 5-letter word for a failure, missing the letter C. A failure is a... Now I can't think of a word that would work. I don't know, actually. Maybe I could be totally misleading you here. We have a no. Oh, let's have a look at 22 down. I just want to see if I can justify that E. 5 letters. Americans parking in departure area way below. I want that to be Hades. Like an area that's way below. Americans parking in departure area way below. Way below. That could be, rather than being a place that's way below, could it be an underground passageway? A way, a path that is below, I don't know, below normal levels. Way below. I don't know what this is either. I don't think it does begin with E though, does it? It doesn't feel like it does to me. Should we go? Let's go for 24. 3-4, beginning with S. Plane quiet with just 50% aboard winter flight. Plane quiet with just 50% aboard winter flight. What? Ski trip. That would be a winter flight. There's no way that could be ski trip, is there? With just 50% aboard. Oh, Maverick's flying over. Apologies if you can hear a little bit of aeroplane noise. I don't think it's ski trip, but it could be. If you plane, do you ski? Is that really? Is plane if you aquaplane, you sort of skid over the water, don't you? So if you ski, do you form the activity of planing? Maybe. And then P and quiet. Quiet. If you see quiet in a cryptic crossword, it almost is always P or shush, SH. Something somebody might say to you in the library. Shh. P is from music notation. Play quietly would be indicated with a P. So if it was ski trip, we'd have ski and then P, and then TRI would have to be explained by with just 50% aboard. If you're honest, you're equitable, I don't think it is ski trip. I think I'm trying to stretch to an answer there that isn't quite justified. We'll have a quick look at 17 down. 7 letters. Doctor's prime spot by blankets. Doctor's prime spot by blankets. I don't know what this is either. I think, if I was guessing, it's going to be a 7-letter word for a doctor. And that could be, it could be the real name of a doctor, like Dr. No. I mean, Dr. No is, I love the way that my brain, thinking of real doctors, it went to Dr. No and Doctor Who, both of which aren't actually real. But that's where my brain went. No, but it could be to doctor, as in, to change something. And then the recipe, prime spot by blankets. So if I could buy, if the word buy blankets something, it would cover it, wouldn't it? So it could be a synonym for buy, or it could just be the word buy, and literally blanketing, prime spot, whatever that means. But I don't know that either, so I'm going to go further afield. Let's go and have a look at 3 down, which is the one I said I would go to if I was speed solving, and that was a mistake. 9 letters. odd selection of sayings encapsulating these collected works. Odd selection of sayings. Synthesis is going to be, it's something like that, isn't it? The way I'm seeing that, and it might not be right, syntheses, is it? Odd selection of sayings, I think, is literally saying select the odd letters in the word sayings. And you can see that's SYN and then S, and they encapsulate these. So maybe that is just the word, these, syntheses, collected works. Yeah, I think that's right, isn't it? Syntheses, maybe, is how I'm meant to pronounce that. Collected works. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. So let's have a look at what. In fact, I'm not going to change that. So if I don't change it, it's permissible to look it up. So let's have a look. Syntheses. It is the plural of synthesis. Making a whole out of parts. What is it? Collected works. So if you collect something, you would make a whole out of parts, wouldn't you? Yeah, so I think that feels right. Now let's go back to one across then. More granite. Hard. Emergency road layer. Ought to put in more granite. Hard. Granite. You are hard. Ow, why can't I see it? Silly brain. 4 down. 5 letters. Old hit for Rolling Stones. You know, do not go through your list of Rolling Stones old hits and think, oh, Jumping Jack Flash, that doesn't fit. It's almost certainly got nothing to do with the band The Rolling Stones, the answer here. I've got this, actually, and that thought has helped me. It's because John is so clever. John would delight in making us look at the phrase Rolling Stones and for it not to occur to us that actually we might have to split up the words rolling and stones in order to solve the clue. But because I know who John is, I've had exactly that thought, and that has helped me to solve it. Because if we cut the clue between rolling and stones, then what we need is a 5-letter word for stones, and the recipe is old hit for rolling. Now, we looked earlier at old, didn't we? And we noted it could be abbreviated to O. Hit for rolling is saying think of a word for hit and roll it over, turn it round. And if you slap somebody, that's that you hit them. And if I turn that round, I can create pals. And if I put O and pals together, I can get opals, and opals are certainly stones. So that it's a very good clue. But it's actually a brilliant clue, isn't it? It's brilliant. Old hit for Rolling Stones can give opals. Hard shoulder. Oh no. Oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so sorry. That's appalling. Well, a emergency road layer. Oh. Yeah, I can see it's got should in it for ought. Put in more granite, harder. So that's interesting. So the hard shoulder obviously is a lane on the motorway. And it's being defined here as emergency road layer. A layer. Is it a layer of the... You see, I imagine if I look up layer in the dictionary, it will give succor to the view that a lane can be a layer. I mean, it's clearly right, isn't it? Should is in harder for more granite. So let's have a look at layer and see how it could justify a course. Yeah, an emergency road course. Stratum. Yeah, I think it's a course. It's part of the course that you travel along. So hard shoulder is it's clearly right, isn't it? Now we've got some starting letters again, so that's good. Let's have a look at this one. 9 across, 7 letters beginning with A. Approved of plug, diameter on sink in slough. Come friendly bonds. And fall on slough. It isn't fit for humans now. Approved of plug. Approved of. Endorsed. A plug is an advert. Approved of. Plug diameter on. Sink in slough. Admired? Is it admired? I'm just thinking a mire is like a bog, isn't it? Approved of, admired. So that would work as a definition. Then how does the recipe work? An ad is a plug in the sense it's an advert. Diameter can be abbreviated to D. So we've got ADD and sink on sink in. Plug diameter. Plug diameter on sink. I think we're being given an instruction here to sink in, i.e. to put inside our ADD a word that means slough, which I think is mire. It's the word on I'm struggling with. I think maybe it's fine. I think the way it's meant to be read is plug is add, diameter on. No, I've changed my mind. It is fine. I think the way that the clue grammatically is meant to be read is add is plug. And then you put D on, i.e. next to, a word that means sink in slough. And if you sink into a bog, you sink in slough, mire. To mire is to sink in a slough, I think, is how it's meant to be read. So let's look up mire as a verb. To bog down, to sink in mud. And and then slough is definitely like a hollow filled with mud. There we go. So I think that's how you meant to read it. It's not easy, is it? But I think we've decrypted it. We have cracked the cryptic there. Right, let's have a look at 12 across, 7 letters, beginning with S. Animal barking unless holding its lead. I want to put mad in here somehow. Okay, so the way I read the clue is like this. Animal. I think this is going to be a 7-letter animal. No idea which one. Barking. If you're barking, you're crazy, you're mad. And then unless holding its lead. See, maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was going to be unless. Can I think of any short words for unless? I was thinking save. So I was going to put save around mad or something like that. But what's the lead bit doing? Animal. Oh, I don't know. No, I'm not sure what that is. We'll try and get some 1 downs. That could be lamprey, 5 down. Gaily river beast rearing up. Gaily river beast rearing up. Scaly river. Is there Limpopo? Is that a river? A river beast? Could that be a... I don't know. Camel. I could see I could reverse camel at the top of that, and that's a beast. Lemmy. Scaly. There could be some sort of anatomical term for if you're scaly, and I might not know that. No, I don't like that one. I'm going to move swiftly on. Let's have a look at 6 now. 7 letters. Half-worn flea collar, retaining medium, protection on one side. Earmuff? Half-worn flea collar, retaining medium, protection on one side. Yes, a ruff is a collar, isn't it? In sort of, yeah, okay. So half-worn flea, saying wear away half of the letters of the word flea. So we'll wear away the first 2 letters, and we'll just be left with EA. And then a collar is a ruff. It's an old word for a collar. And that retains M for medium, which is a valid abbreviation to give earmuff, which would be a protection on one side of your head. Not easy. Gives us a U in this strange one here. Can I think of any animal that would fit? I was going to say squirrel, but no. No, I still can't. Let's have a look at 10 down. 12 letters, beginning with D. Licensed bar limits salted nuts and charcuterie. Delicatessen? It probably is delicatessen. It feels like it's got those sorts of words or letters in the clue somehow. Why would it be delicatessen? Licensed bar limits salted nuts and charcuterie. Hang on, sorry. I feel like salted nuts might be. Licensed bar limits. No, okay. That's brilliant. Oh my goodness, it's sick. Right. This is totally genius setting. Right. So the way to understand that there is an anagram thing going on here, it's just really hard to read it. But once the great thing about these clues is once you do read them correctly, you know it's like gears meshing into place. It suddenly makes sense. So, licensed bar limits is nothing to do with a licensed bar. It's nothing to do with a pub. It is saying, look at the word licensed, and you want all of those letters except for the limits of the word. Now, the limits are sort of the start and end points of the word. So remove the L and the D from the word licensed. You're just left with ICENSE. Combine that with the word salted. So you've now got 12 letters, and those letters go nuts. They are anagrammed, and I think that would give us the sort of anagram fodder for delicatessen. I'm not gonna double check. It feels right, doesn't it? So let's go for this. Is this soporific? Oh, it could be sleepy. Yes, this feels like an anagram immediately. Sleepy from poor sci-fi novel. Again, it's a great surface, and we're very fortunate with these checking letters. There are probably not that many other soporific. And you can see we treat the letters of poor sci-fi in a novel way. So it's not referring to a book. It's saying that those letters are novel. And novel means new. So we arrange them in a new order. Now, what is this animal then? Don't know. Animal barking. Oh, it's not. Barking isn't an anagram indicator, is it? It could be. Barking unless. That feels like it could be an anagram of unless. Holding its lead. So is that the lead of the word its, or is that the lead of the word unless? I'm not sure. But I think, okay, I think we are looking for basically an anagram of unless plus one other letter to give an animal. And that is a... that is a... Oh, bobbins. What could it be? It must be obvious. It's quite weird to think about what this letter is. Does that have to be... And if that's E... Oh, unless that's its lead, that could be I suppose. I don't know if I know this word. What's this? Lamina? Scaly lamina. Oh, that is lamina. That is lamina. Animal is reversed in that. Right. Okay, so laminar must be a word that means scaly. And the way that we can justify this from the recipe perspective is river can be abbreviated to R, and then beast is an animal, and that all rears up in a down clue. That's going to be reversed. So I'm not changing that. I'm going to look it up. Laminar. Laminar. Consisting of or like thin plates or layers. Well, that's scaly, isn't it? If you've got scales, that's how you would be described. Now, oh dear. Barking unless holding its lead. Sensual. Oh, sensual animal. Is it sensual then? An animal in the sense, if you're animal, are you sensual? Maybe you are. But that's weird because that's got A in it as the extra letter. Oh, that's the first letter of animal. Okay. So the way this works, animal, barking unless, anagram the word unless, hold the lead of the word animal, which is A, and you get sensual. And I think sensual, if you've got animal spirits, you sort of... there's a slightly lascivious feeling I get when I think about how these two words are synonymous, but I can see that they probably are. Let's have a look at animal. Brutal. Oh, it literally says it. Brutal, sensual. There we go. So sensual of the senses. Yeah, and then there are some carnal, lewd, voluptuous sort of connotations. So now we've done the top of the grid, which is super. However, I didn't do very well in the southwest. So let's see if we can get 15 down. 9 letters. Fruit in individual. I'm thinking peach. 1 millimeter slices. Pineapple? No. 1 millimeter slices. That must be IM, or maybe IMM. Oh, persimmon. Oh, it's going to be persimmon, I think. That is a fruit, isn't it? As well as a wood used in old golf clubs. Now, why? 1 millimeter. 1 millimeter. So that has slices. Person. A person is an individual. So person with 1, which is the Roman numeral for, or I is the Roman numeral for the number 1. And then millimeter obviously could be abbreviated to mm. So persimmon. Let's look up persimmon. See if it mentions golf clubs. Persimmon, a tree of the American or African genus. It's plum-like fruit. Okay, it doesn't. But I'm pretty sure we're right there. So let's go for 23 across. 7 letters, beginning with I. Does corrupt criminal court void fines? Brilliant service again. Does corrupt criminal court void fines? Does corrupt infects or something like that? Criminal court void fines. Don't understand that. Why? Why is it infects? If you infect something, you corrupt it. But can I just put that in and just let me think about that for a minute? So does corrupt criminal court fines? No. I don't understand. Oh, right. Oh, see, this is difficult. This is difficult for me because I know CT is an abbreviation for court, but that's not what John's done here. What John's done, so the way to read the recipe, criminal is an anagram indicator here. So we are treating some string of letters as if they're in a criminal way. They need to be bent. They need to be anagrammed. Now, court void is saying, look at the word court and void it, evacuate it, remove its center, remove its heart. Now, if we do that, we're just left with C and T. And then we add fines to that and treat CT and fines as anagrammed, and we get the anagram fodder we need for infects. But if I show you, if we look in the dictionary, under CT, court. So when I see court, I'm thinking CT, and I don't need the word void to give me the CT. I've just got the word court. But I think for the wordplay or for the surface reading of the clue here, John's saying, well, I know that CT can be an abbreviation for court, but I also know if I void the word court, if I evacuate it, then I can create the C and the T I need, and the surface reading of the clue is better. What's this? Let's try and do this without looking at the clue. So all I've got to think of is a phrase that would fit. And man cave. That's what I think this is. Right, let's have a look. 25 across, 3, 4. Large poles separating cereal crop. Crop? Man size or something? I'm trying to think of a cereal crop that would something to do with it. I'm thinking maize. I think it is that, isn't it? If something's man size, it's large. And I can understand. So poles is the North and the South Pole, N and S. And they separate, N and S separate a word for a cereal crop, which is maize, M-A-I-Z-E. So man size is going to work there. Let's go for 19 down. 7 letters. Istanbul address set up. ID and iron locks in flat. A lot going on there. Istanbul address. Set up ID and iron locks in flat. I mean, set up ID seems to be saying reverse ID, which would give DI. This is going to be, this is going to be difficult because this is going to be is it Effendi or something? It's going to be not an address of a house in Istanbul. It's going to be a way you address a person in Istanbul, in Turkey. And I think there is a word, effendi, which is like for an esteemed man. I think he might be an effendi, maybe. So if it was, a flat is a fen, as in the Cambridge Fens. Wow. I mean, that's brilliant, isn't it? So set up, we have to reverse, it's a down clue. ID, that's this I, where the cursor is, and this D. Iron, in the periodic table, iron is Fe. That's this Fe, which is locked inside it. So the reversal of IDFE has locked inside it a word for flat, which is fen, and that gives effendi, which I'm not changing, so we'll look it up. Oh no, I thought it wasn't there for a moment. No, it is there. In Turkey, a former title for civil officials abolished in 1934 and now used orally with the force of Mr., generally in East Mediterranean. A title of respect for educated or high-ranking people. So I was a little bit wrong, but not wrong enough that it caused me a problem. So 19 across 5 letters. Phrase. Movie withdrawing permissive parts. Phrase movie withdrawing permissive parts. I've got this one. Okay, can we think of, so again, make a decision which part of the clue you think the definition is. And a good way to get into the habit of spotting the correct definition is to think about what might be wordplay and what might be recipe. And words that are going to be part of the recipe are going to be words that indicate the position of things, or a requirement to put things into other words. And look at this word here, parts. If a word parts another word, it would be inside it, wouldn't it? So parts could be part of a recipe, but praise really couldn't be. Praise does nothing to tell us about the movement of letters or anything. So it's very likely that this is a 5-letter word that means praise. There are no words that mean praise movie. So we're looking for a 5-letter word, E blank 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 T, which means praise. Now, if you have that thought, you're probably going to get it, because you could think of the word exalt. And then the movie, the ubiquitous movie that comes up all the time in cryptic crosswords, is E.T. And withdrawing permissive, if you're permissive, you're lax. That's withdrawn, so it's reversed, and that parts the movie, so it's included inside the E and the T. So the wordplay is absolutely gorgeous there. The recipe is gorgeous, but we were lucky. We had the E, had the T, so we had a chance. This looks like archive to me, sort of Blueprints reference. Leading writer owns record collection. Well, a record collection is an archive. If you're leading, you're the arch. The arch enemy is the leading enemy. Writer owns. So if the writer of the clue owns something, he might say I've in the possessive, I apostrophe VE. So archive makes sense there. This looks like something engine. Probably isn't though. Charge 66. Charge seen in mobile web app. Charge. A charge is like a cost. Seen in mobile web app. Mobile web app sounds like an anagram of web app to me. Hang on. Or maybe, no, I've changed my mind. If we treat the letters of charge seen in a mobile way, we could anagram charge seen in, and that would give us 12 letters. But then we'd be looking for a web app. Search engine. Search engine. Okay, good. So, where do we go now? Let's go for the H, shall we, in 22 down. Oh no, this was the Americans parking in departure area way below. Area way below. Americans parking. I want that to be something like depth. An area way below would be at a depth, wouldn't it? Americans parking. No, I don't think it is depth. I don't think it is. I'm not certain it isn't, but I don't think it is. What have I looked at? I've looked at that one. I haven't looked at this one. Right, 18 down, 7 letters ending in R. We could really do with this. Professors, one needing coat. Professor is a speaker, somebody who professes. One needing coat. One needing coat is a... I don't know. One needing a coat. I don't know. Like, what was this? 16 across one? Oh yeah, Mr. Joseph's eldest brother. Holding most of deposit back. What? I tell you what we might have to think about as well. I've just had another thought. I've got a Z here, and I've got an X here. And John does like a Pangram. And I haven't had a J, have I? Or a Q. I haven't had a J or a Q. So is it possible that one of the reasons I'm finding this part of the grid so difficult is there are J's and Q's going on in there? God. Doctor. Prime spot by blankets. I think it's quite hard to see where the J's and the Q's could go. Mr. Joseph's eldest brother, holding most of deposit back. Mr. Joseph. Keith Joseph? That's about the only Joseph I can think of. I mean, that's not true, but Mr. Joseph's eldest brother, holding most of deposit back. I just don't know what that is. I need more letters to get that. Oh, if that was ski trip, that might be depth then. Why would that be depth? Americans parking in departure. Oh no, I do understand that. Wow, that's hard. Okay, so this is really difficult. The definition here is area way below. So in the depths, they would be the areas way below, wouldn't they? So depth. Now, departure here is actually defining the word death. And in the word death, American is parking. So American can be abbreviated to A, parking can be abbreviated to P. And so this phrasing, Americans parking, we have to read the apostrophe S as if this is the word is. American, i.e. A, is P in an area, a word that means departure, death. So A is P in death, and if A is P in death, it becomes the word depth. So it's a substitution. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, but it's very hard to see. So ski trip looks still good here. And got, if you got something, you were infected by it. You were I can't think of the word, but I'm close to getting this one, I think. Okay, so maybe I missed past this. Batting is in. Failure, maybe we're looking for a 3-letter word for a failure that's going to mask, that's going to have within it century, C, England's opener, E. So a failure, blank blank D. Dud, induced, got. If you got something, you induced it. To get is to induce. Yeah, I think that's right. So I think it's a dud for a failure. And then C for century, E for England's opener, and induced can be made. Now, this could be ski trip still. Now, if it was ski trip, this would be an R, this would be an I. So let's just see if that helps us. Professor's one needing coat. Professor. The Cura? It's not that. Maybe it's not ski trip. Professor. Oh, let's have a look at this one. What was this? Oh, this was the doctor. Prime spot buy blankets. Doctor. Prime spot buy blankets. What's a prime spot? It's the absolute pinnacle. It's the acme. It's the, unless it's prime as in prime numbers. 2, 3, 5, 7. No, it can't be. Spot by blankets. No, I don't know. I'm not happy about not understanding ski trip either. Plain, quiet, with just 50% aboard. Winter flight. I mean, ski trip feels right, doesn't it? Plain, quiet. And I've got no further with my Mr. Joseph. Mr. Joseph Nebuchadnezzar. No, it's not that. It is Mr. Joseph. I don't know what this is at all. I think my hopes of this being a pangram to help me get letters have been foiled. And this is the most peculiar word ever at 16 across. So go back to this one. Professor. One's needing coat. One's needing coat. A coat is professor. So, oh, I'm sorry if I can't get this. One needing coat. Oh, I don't know. Doctor's prime spot by blankets. By. What could by be? Via? Times? Product prime spot. Eden? Prime spot. That could be Eden, couldn't it? Doctor. Oh, but no, not if it's ski trip though. Definitely not if it's ski trip. I think this is the one I've got to spend the time on. I've got to understand this. I think this is ski trip. I just can't quite understand why. So plain ski, probably. Quiet P. With just 50% aboard. So why is that TRI? Just 50%. Plain or ski winter. Oh, could it be ski jump? Oh, that would give me a J. A winter flight, a ski jump. Why? Oh, just 50%. Skim. Ah, I was thinking plain was ski. Right. So plain is skim. To skim the surface of something. Quiet is P, as we said before, and that has the word just. We only take 50% of the word just. That gives JU, and that's aboard the skim P to give ski jump, which is our winter flight. Now, is this lacquer then? That's a coat. A one needing lacquer. As in sort of the a coat on as a varnish. Here, lacquer, and this is nothing to do with science. It's somebody who professes is somebody who says something out loud. So if you state one needing, somebody who needs something is somebody who lacks it. LACKER is a lacquer, but it sounds exactly the same as this word lacquer, which is a coat, as in a varnish. And that gives me my J. It probably gives me a K as well. So we are in Pangram land. Nebulizer. Mister. It can't be nebulizer. Oh, I would love it if that was right. As in something that produces a mist. It's going to be, isn't it? Nebulizer. Oh my goodness, John, what have you done here? You're right. Joseph's eldest brother holding silt. Is that a deposit? Silt, maybe. So if the deposit was silt, most of silt would be SIL. And that has been held back by NEBUER, Nebua. Joseph's eldest. I don't know why that's right, though. Is this a biblical reference? I don't know. Joseph's eldest brother. Oh, Reuben. Ah, okay, that makes more sense than Nebula. Reuben is, okay, so it's Reuben, who must be Joseph's eldest brother, I guess, in the Bible. I'm not sure. Sorry if that's wrong. Holds most of silt, and then the whole thing gets reversed to give nebulizer, which is a mister. That's genius. That's that clue. All I've got to do, bedtime would fit. Doctor's prime spot by blankets. Doctor's prime spot. Bedside. It must be bedside. That's where a doctor's prime spot is. Why, though? Prime spot. I mean, it's not. I mean, is this a cryptic definition? Doctor's prime spot by blankets would be. I mean, doctors have their bedside manner. Doctor's prime spot. I'm not sure. I think this is an and lit of some sort. Knowing John, I don't think he would do a cryptic definition quite like this. It just doesn't feel right to me. It feels like doctor's prime spot by blankets might well be defining bedside, but I suspect it's also somehow, if I read this correctly, it's wordplay for BEDSIDE. I've just got to work out why, because if I don't work out why, and it is wordplay, then I'm overlooking total genius from the setter, which would be appalling of me. Doctor's prime. Doctor's prime maybe could be beside. Yes. I now understand. It is an and lit. So doctor's prime spot by blankets is. So what is an and lit clue? And lit clues are very hard to write because the whole clue has to work as a definition of the answer, and the whole clue has to be a recipe for the letters of the answer in their correct order. How does it work? Well, doctor's prime spot by blankets is bedside, as in your bedside manner. So how does the recipe work? Doctor's prime spot, I think, is saying take the first letter of the word doctor. The prime spot in the word, I think, is D, the first letter. That's this D. And by, if you're by something, you're beside it, and that blankets the D. It surrounds it, it covers it, and that gives us bedside, which explains everything. And that is brilliant. This bottom part of the grid is brutal. Nebulizer crossing with lacquer bedside and ski jump and induced was hard. And depth wasn't easy. Yeah, that bottom left is hard, I think. But I think we've solved it correctly. Please, yes. Yes, we did. Fantastic. Well, that was brilliant, wasn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. And hopefully now I will go somewhat quicker. Let's have a look at the quick cryptic and see if we can do justice to this. So by Chico, career pressure blocks ranked sports player. career, I don't know, race or rapid or something. Finally, gardeners agree on identical plant. Oh, bobbins, I don't know. That is not a good start. Noble occupying correct part of vehicle. Rear light, I think. Permanent stable. I'm going to go for there. A site in which threads are systematically removed. Don't know. Hairs? No, I don't know. Famous photographer of giant fish. No thanks. I don't know. Famous photographer. Something man, is it? I'm not sure. We say our caste accepts ecstasy. I take that back. It's an anagram, that one. I take that back. I take that back. I can't read. I can't see what the anagram is. That is a U. I could type quickly. Porky pig seen naked in Facebook. It's a clever clue again. I don't know what it is. What's this? Jason's prize. That was the golden fleece. Feels like it's got the right. So Porky Pig, is this fib? Oh, pig seen naked. That's I. That's brilliant. Criminal reportedly vetoed Congress. Bandit. It being a sexual reference there. That's event. Skillfully handle all competitors. Field questions, don't you? Calm UN regulation protecting twin calm unruffle. Yes. This is a good puzzle. It's not always as you were. As you were. Yeah. Right. Sheep lice treated with organic. Oh, no idea. Part of sun lunch, roast beef. Sometimes prepared for. It must be roast beef. I think it's an anagram. Let's try this one. Fat eater. Jack Sprat. Emptied food store larder. It's not that. Yep. Vitally important. Lease isn't up for renewal. Essential. That's an anagram. That's easier, that one. Fool. Turning up at last. Any minute. If we read it properly, it's easy to solve. Decorative accessory on type in. Maybe? Yeah. Type in, I think. What's this one then? Sheep. Leicester? Yeah, I think it is, isn't it? An ester is an organic compound. Doctor communication. Cancelling mass. Discipline for horses. Dressage. Whoops. What is this then? Something club? Oh, it's not. Okay. Famous photographer. Oh dear, I don't know if I know that. Fish slides smoothly on surface. Glide? Fish. Angle? Oh, I don't know what that is. Oh, this was the gardeners one. Finally, gardeners agree on identical. Sesame. Wow. Slide. Skate? Oh, that's clever. Yeah. Skate. Career speed. Pressure. Oh, so a ranked player is a seed. Gospel. Evangelists or something. Evangelicals then. Evangelicals. Yeah, okay. Sports club? No. Site in which threads are systematically strip club. Gosh. Born north of the border. It's the temporary setback. Blip. Oh dear. Manta Ray, is this? Man Ray, maybe that was a famous photographer. That was an appalling. Yeah, well, it was appalling. 29th. Absolutely execrable. I'm so sorry. And John McCabe in there with under 2 minutes on that. I mean, I didn't think that was easy. Didn't make it look easy, did I? But did plough through it. Very good puzzle, actually. Some lovely clues in there. So Chico does us proud. We've had 2 fabulous puzzles today. I hope that you're still here. I hope you enjoyed watching me do battle with them. Do let me know in the comments how you're getting on with your cryptic crossword solving. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And please, if you're not subscribed, please do hit the like and subscribe button. We would really appreciate it. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.